Blockbusters. You are listening to the Triple B Podcast. Let's fucking go.
Welcome back to the Triple B Podcast, Bourbon, Belts and Blockbusters. Episode 11.
I'm Tim.
I'm Ryan.
And this is the show where we sip over bourbon and talk about wrestling and blockbusters of all sorts.
Yes. That leads us into what we're rocking this week is our cocktail of the week, utilizing, as we have done for the last few weeks now, our bourbon from last year, which was the Bibb and Tucker Double Charred. We both gave it, I think, well, six and a half-ish, somewhere in there.
6.5, yeah.
I think it was just a little too smoky for us for what we had been having the last. I think it more caught us off guard. But even though it is double charred.
Yeah.
So we should have known.
We should have known. But I did recommend and think that it would taste good in an old-fashioned.
And as soon as you said that, I was like, well, I know what I'm making for the cocktail next week. So that is exactly what we're doing. We are doing an old-fashioned cocktail. And what that consists of is 2 ounces of the bourbon of your choice. Our choice this week is our double charred Bibb and Tucker. Yeah. 2 cocktail cherries. 1 teaspoon of brown sugar, an orange slice, an orange peel twist, and 3 dashes of Angostura bitters. How you make it? In a shaker, I muddled an orange, a cherry, and the brown sugar. I added the bourbon and the ice. We shook the living shit out of it, and then strained it into a rocks glass, added the dashes of bitters, and then topped it off with the nice garnish of, I did 2 cherries for garnish, just because, and 1 orange peel twist. Gave it a little twist to express the oils of the orange. And yeah, we are going to give her a taste, give her our ranking.
Perfect. You can also see him make the drinks on our TikTok.
Yes.
It'll be posted with the episode. But yeah, let's get into it.
Cheers, brother. Episode 11.
Episode 11.
We did it again.
You did it again.
We did it again. Goddamn. 9.
I have to rate it a 10. I love old fashions.
I love old fashions too.
They're my go-to drink. And we were right. The smokiness is the perfect touch to it.
Absolutely. It comes kind of fuses the sweetness.
Yeah.
And then the smokiness, it really combines well together.
Yes. And it's crazy. We take a bourbon that we gave one of our lower rankings and then
ended up with a high cocktail.
High cocktail. So, no, really good. I wish we had more ready to go for the episode. So
I know.
Because I feel like this is going to be a quick sip.
We can always stop and remake it. It's not a big deal. I can make it again fairly quickly. That's the nice thing about an old fashioned. It doesn't take too long to make. Throw it all together, shake it, strain it, you're good to go.
Absolutely.
So, Tim, before we move on, I have a surprise for you.
Oh.
Yep. So I'm going to grab that real quick.
Okay.
Okay.
Ooh.
Now, close your eyes. Close your eyes.
All right.
All right. Oh, shit. I headbutted the mic. Okay, you can look. You're good. I don't have it. Have it on me.
All right.
I want to give a little bit of a build up for it.
Okay.
Right? So, in honor of this is something we've talked about, but you didn't know that I actually did it.
Okay.
Okay. So, in honor of Miss Tiffany Stratton.
Yeah.
And her Tiffy Time Money in the Bank briefcase.
Okay.
We now have our own Bourbon in the Bank briefcase.
That is awesome.
We now have our own Bourbon in the Bank briefcase.
Damn.
I coined the term. We got the logo is the colors that we've been using for the podcast.
Yeah.
Right? The kind of maroonish and gold outline. It was a movie ticket.
I love it.
We got Bourbon represented. It's the briefcase from wrestling, and the logo is a movie ticket. So it hits all three areas of our show.
Damn.
And I have our Bib and Tucker in it.
That's awesome.
So, from now on, the episodes that we do the Bourbon, we will be
reveal them in the case.
Revealing them in the case.
Oh.
Yes.
So,
yes. I will send this home with you because next week is your bourbon choice. So Perfect. I'll send it home with you, and then you'll show it, and then you'll send it home with me, and then the next time I'll do it, and we'll just send it back and forth so that we can. Because from the very first episode, we had talked about wanting something cool that we could put the bourbon in and surprise each other with instead of just having to pull it out from behind us or whatever, or a paper bag like last week. So
hey, 40s.
We got a Bourbon in the Bank briefcase.
Cashing in each week.
Yep, cashing in every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks. Yeah, cashing in every 2 weeks. All right.
Love it, dude. That's so sick.
I thought it was pretty solid. Shout out to my wife Lindsay. She helped me make the logo. And then awesome. We ordered it, it came, and then she actually cut it out and put it on and everything because I didn't trust myself to do that without fucking it up. So, she designed the logo and everything, and I just kind of had input and gave her an idea of it. And, I thought she made it look pretty solid. I want to look at it one more time.
That is awesome. I freaking love it.
Literally. It's pretty good. It's pretty fucking good.
It's the points.
It's pretty solid. All right. So, Bourbon in the Bank. God, I can't talk today. Apparently, that was my first sip too. Bourbon in the Bank briefcase. From now on for our bourbon reveals.
I like it. I like it. I'm so ready for it.
Sweet. All right, socials. We are at Trip B Pod on Instagram, X, YouTube, and TikTok. We are Triple B Podcast.
Bourbon Belts and Blockbusters.
Bourbon Belts and Blockbusters on Spotify, Apple, and Amazon. And then we have our email, triplebpod619@gmail.com. If you guys want to hit us up there, send us emails for talking points, things you want to hear us cover. We would take questions of the week from fans. That would be awesome. So
yeah, just
send us your stuff, subscribe, follow, share, like, comment, everything. Hit us up on the socials. We are active on them. All right, so we are introducing this week our something new that we're going to be doing. We're going to be kind of talking about every couple weeks on the show. This is a more personal thing for us. It's very real. It's real life for us. We are both wanting to get in shape.
Yeah, we
get a little healthier, feel a little bit better. And so we've decided to do a little weight loss journey together.
I think we've talked about it a lot, just one-on-one, and we want to get healthier, and we're using the show to kind of hold us accountable.
It's
ultimately we're putting it out there.
Yep.
We're going to talk about it every other week, and that's when we'll do the weigh-ins, and so that's when we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
But it does hold us accountable. We're putting it out there, but ultimately the goal is to get healthy, right?
Absolutely. The way it's going to work is we are every 2 weeks. We're doing it here at my house. Every 2 weeks, we are going to weigh in just before we start the show. Kind of just wearing very similar stuff each week just to keep it as consistent as we can. And then we'll kind of just talk about where we're at, how the last 2 weeks have gone in terms of, eating and exercise and all that stuff. Because, there's ebbs and flows with all this shit. We got life happens. Sometimes things get in the way. Time constraints, whatever, we end up not being able to do as well. Some weeks we do really good, other weeks that's just the way life is. So we'll be able to talk about it, kind of help keep each other motivated. Hopefully you guys, fans of our show and whatnot, can help us stay motivated to do it as well.
Absolutely.
We're excited for this. We have a kind of goal weight. We didn't even plan that. It just kind of happened. We both said the same weight that we wanted to get down to, which is 210 pounds. That's like our starting, just kind of that's our goal as to what we would like to get to start right now. And
we don't have any end time.
Nope.
You know, we don't want to.
Nope. Yep.
We didn't want to put a.
We don't want to put a due date on it.
Yeah.
You know, we don't want to put a deadline.
A rush and get disappointed or.
Yeah. Well, and also if you do that, you know, like a lot of the times people will be like for instance, I'm going to Mexico in December. So if I were to say I want to get down to 210 by the time I go to Mexico, it ends up being I'm probably going to end up having to lose more weight too quickly than what is recommended. And when you do that, you tend to, more often than not, you gain back what you lost plus some because it's harder to keep off when you do it quickly.
Yeah.
So doing it slow and consistent, doing it the right way, just taking our time, but just being, you know, legit about it and like very purposeful about what we're doing and mindful about the decisions that we're making. And then also, if you put a deadline like that on it and you end up in the situation where you don't achieve that, then you failed.
Yeah.
Like you did. Like that's a failure. So, and then that's harder than to then like rebound from and then readjust and keep going. Where if you just have the goal, but you don't have a time frame, then it's like you can look what we're going to be doing is a 2-week check-in essentially with each other to be like, yo, like what worked, what didn't work, what can we change, what can we adjust, how can we like help each other to continue to progress through this. So I think we're doing it the right way. I think it's going to be awesome.
We can adjust on the fly if need be. But I think we do got a great end goal of what we can do to reward ourselves
absolutely
for this. We've talked about on our episodes before, we would love to get a custom Triple B tag team belts. And if we hit that goal, when we hit that goal,
yes,
we're gonna reward ourselves.
We're gonna reward ourselves. We're gonna get those custom Triple B Tag Team Championships so that we can like I got the spinner belt here. You have the winged belt, correct? Yep. At your house, we will add to our collection of title belts then and start displaying some custom Triple B belts on our episodes. So. Another thing that could potentially happen that we've talked about also is we have multiple times over the last like 15 years started to plan, practice through a little bit, ran through some spots for a backyard wrestling match because you and me both kind of grew up doing that.
Yeah.
But we've never actually done that match. So what we've decided is once we get to that goal weight, we would both be healthier, in better shape to be able to do that match, and hopefully feeling physically better also to be able to do that match. And we'll see. We're not guaranteeing it, but high potential for us to actually do that match.
And you guys will definitely get some
absolutely
some
yes
action on that.
So there's that. We got to say what our current weigh-ins are so that we can start and make this bitch official.
Yep.
All right. So we're trying to get to 210. I weighed in about 10 minutes ago at 241.8 pounds.
And I weighed in at 262.9. So
yes.
Got a ways to go.
52 pounds and 31 pounds.
Yep.
So a combined total of like 85 pounds that we're trying to lose between the two of us.
But it's
and I think we can fucking do it.
We're going to do it, man.
We can do it, 100%. Hell yeah. I'm excited, man.
Let's cheers to that, man.
Let's cheers to that.
Cheers to being healthy. As we drink an old fashioned.
Irony. That leads us into belts. So we are starting off with SmackDown from August 9th. Show started off with
Cody Rhodes.
Coming out.
This is the first SmackDown post SummerSlam.
Yep.
Cody Rhodes is ready for the next challenger. He says he's done with the bloodline.
He's flushed the bloodline.
And he's ready for the next challenger. He says he got someone in mind, someone deserving. And that person, he says, is none other than Kevin Owens.
KO.
This quickly brings KO out.
KO comes out
to it, and Kevin Owens says that he's not deserving of the title shot. He's been on a big losing streak.
Yeah.
He's done nothing to earn it, and he firmly believes in that. Cody quickly disagrees with him. And then we go quickly to the back shortly after all that, and
Cody
and
is talking to Aldis.
Aldis is trying to get the match in place. KO again is just saying, "Hey, I don't deserve it." And Alice almost agrees with him. He's like, this is a moot point where I'm gonna go talk to Roman Reigns about getting another title shot, and then that quickly switches KO's mindset.
Very, very quickly, KO starts kind of just bashing the idea of Roman getting a rematch. Like, he held it. We haven't seen him since he lost it.
Yeah.
He actually brings up the idea of like the fact that like rematch clauses don't exist anymore. And which is an interesting point, because he was about to just give Roman a rematch, which we literally haven't seen that in a while. So KO kind of ends up reluctantly accepting the fact that he is now going to be challenging Cody Rhodes for the title at Bash at Berlin.
What any thoughts on how you feel like that match is going to be? Do you like how this match is coming about?
I mean, it's kind of funny because it's like the exact opposite option as to what we had predicted with Orton.
Yeah.
Right? We thought Orton was going to like turn on Cody at SummerSlam and like start that feud, but then it ends up being Cody wanting to battle the other person that had his back the whole time through the bloodline. So It's kind of funny there. We didn't quite predict it, but we were close. But match wise, it'll be a great match. Like, they're both obviously really good in the ring. They have good chemistry.
Do you think Kevin Owens goes heel in some form, or
I don't know.
Is this the starting point of getting to go heel again, or is this just buddy versus buddy, good match, no strings attached kind of feud? And
I kind of hope it's the latter. I hope it's just buddy match, like no feud, just like out of straight pure respect for each other, because I don't feel like we haven't seen a face versus face title match in
a while,
fucking long time.
Yeah.
So I think it would be kind of good. Plus, I feel like KO is actually a much better face than heel.
Yeah.
I feel like his heel turns have kind of ended up running stale, and I don't feel like they always go over that well, where like him being like people are behind KO, like they want to see him succeed. And
I mean, his original, when he debuted in WWE and NXT, he was a heel, and he was just a very violent, like prize fighter guy. That was his gimmick, and it worked. And then I think under the old regime in WWE, it definitely tamed things down for him. So maybe under this new one, he can shine in that heel role. It's new writers and whatever. So I think it could be. But no, I think to your point, I think it would just be nice. Just buddy versus buddy, no strings attached. Just, hey, you deserve a shot, and we're giving it to you, and let's go put out a great match.
For sure.
Just circling back to the rematch clause, it's just so inconsistent. I feel like there are some wrestlers that will get a rematch, and then most don't. So it was weird, to hear Aldis say, "Hey, we're going to give Roman a rematch," but then we'll talk about it later. But DIY isn't getting a rematch for the tag titles. They have to go through a number one contendership match. So it's weird. Anywho's. Speaking of
that, we got two different matches on SmackDown that led to a number one contendership match that will be taking place this coming Friday, and DIY beat Pretty Deadly, and the Street Profits beat ATD to
earn the right to go for the number one contendership.
Sorry, I stopped myself for a second because I said ATD, and I was like, wait, was that right? But yeah, it was A-Town Down Under. So we got DIY versus Street Profits this coming SmackDown to earn the right to face then the Bloodline for the tag team titles. I think the match on Friday is going to be a really good match. The Street Profits they're super athletic. They're really good in the ring. And I don't feel like they've necessarily had great pushes to a point, like I feel like this could be that shot. DIY is like kind of solidified. They're a good tag team. Everyone knows that. I don't think that's a surprise to anybody. So I'd like to see the Street Profits win this match and get the number one contendership.
Agreed. I
would love to see that push there. And I think seeing the Street Profits square off against hopefully Jacob Fatu if his injury isn't fully legit.
Yeah.
And Tama. I think that would be a great match. Like the athleticism of both the Street Profits matched with both those guys in the Bloodline. I think we would be seeing some fucking spots in that match, which would be awesome.
Oh yeah, and I agree. I think the Street Profits, they came in hot into WWE and then have just fizzled, and they never gotten really a big push since. And I think it's time. I think it's time for the Street Profits because they are too good to not be in that title match scene. So
for sure. U.S. title spots. We got LA Knight coming out to new entrance music.
That music was fire.
It was fucking awesome. New title around his waist. He's got new entrance music. Man, he's on a whole other level now as a superstar.
God, I just loved it. He was just spewing off on the mic.
Oh my God,
hitting it and quitting it.
Hitting and quitting it.
I know
he hits it and quits it a lot. And I love it. This kind of goes back though to last week. I think it was last week you had talked about like the like kind of borderline boundary that we keep seeing. It was either last week or the week before where you kind of asked that question as to like it's not like Attitude Era stuff because like we said, I don't think we'll ever actually see that outlandish stuff again. But like they're definitely pushing the fucking lines and boundaries on like what they're allowing to be aired live on cable, like
absolutely
TV. So hitting it and quitting it all over the place here. This ended up leading to Santos Escobar coming out and saying that he deserves to be the number one contender or whatever in a shot, which ends up leading to him versus Andrade for the number one contender spot. And lo and behold, Santos Escobar ends up winning that match, like it or not.
Makes sense to me. I mean, they got some backstory, leading into the Logan Paul feud. They were having matches together and feuding, so it makes sense.
Does make sense. I personally would have liked to see Andrade be in that spot.
But, I mean, there was a lot of interference in that match, so we did talk about how we thought it would be cool to see another Carmelo Hayes versus Andrade, like a third match. And I think that interference
definitely led to it.
To that.
I'm going to be honest with you. I would not be against it somehow. I don't think it's going to. But eventually, I wouldn't be against seeing a fatal four-way match with those four dudes for the title.
I think it could lead to that.
That would be a straight...
They don't do enough of those fatal four-ways.
That would be such a good match, though.
And all four of those guys in the ring
would be insane.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll see how it goes. But right now we got Santos Escobar is the number one contender for the U.S. title. Last week we talked about kind of just the women's division right now.
Yeah.
And the potential for maybe trios. Like they're kind of hinting towards this because there's multiple. And I had talked about like, well, that kind of leaves Jade and Bianca as almost like the only tag team, like true tag team left if they do go to trios. But then I also mentioned like, unless Naomi joins them.
Yeah.
Well, fucking lo and behold, go figure. They were Jade had a match. And then obviously interference happened, like what always has been happening in the women's division right now. It's a lot of interference going on.
Yeah.
But Jade and Bianca start getting on the underside. They're getting attacked, and out comes Naomi. Here comes Naomi. So now we got that trio, which seems more or less kind of solidified now. I think that's those three.
Unfortunately, Damage Control Dakota Kai got injured again, so that leaves them down a person. But I think Asuka was part of that group,
Asuka
so could
totally make that
fill in that role. But
then you have Fire and Dawn with
Blair Davenport.
Yeah, Davenport. You got the new Sonya Deville trio, which. We got them, which we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get to Raw.
We got Lyra, Katie, There's just a lot of trios going on. For it to not mean something. I don't know. Maybe I'm just reading too much into it.
I 100% agree with you. So we'll see where it leads, but we now have 4 or 5 like what looks like full-blown solidified women's trios going on. So
I think it would be nice to differentiate from like the men's tag team. Like
Yeah.
they can have trios and then the men have the tag team champions. So
yeah, I think it would be good for the women's division.
Which brings us to the final segment.
Final segment, kind of the main event, if you will. It wasn't a match, but it was a
Solo comes out to the ring and he calls out Roman Reigns. Right?
Mm-hmm.
He's been looking all over for him. They heard Roman Reigns is in the building and calls him out. And Roman Reigns answers. He comes out.
Boy, does he answer!
And he got new music too.
Yeah,
and
he got new music. He comes out instantly. Was it Tama or Tonga? I can't remember which one jumped out the ring first.
Tama.
I think Tama jumped out first. Roman disposes of him, disposes of Tonga, jumps in the ring.
Goes right after
Solo. Him and Solo go immediately. Like, it wasn't even a hesitation. He just wound up, hit the Superman punch, and it was going for a spear. Solo got pulled out of the ring. Then,
I think he did get speared where the Ula falls off of him, and Roman goes for it. And then
no, that was from the Superman punch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was from the Superman punch. It fell off, and then he was going for the spear, and Tonga pulled him out of the ring.
That's right.
And the thing was sitting in the ring.
Yeah.
And then Roman was looking at it and picked it up and whatnot, but then
Tama and Tonga come back in
and start trying to attack Roman, and Roman once again gets the upper hand and just destroys Tama and Tonga. I mean, he fucking speared Tonga. Was it Tonga through the fucking ring or the barricade?
Yeah.
Like he, I mean, that was what happened. That was how the show ended. Was just Roman standing tall over the entire bloodline with Solo
saying, Come get me and everything. But
so it was an interesting. What are your thoughts on this? Like, what's your kind of takeaway from that final segment of?
It's weird to see Roman, like, because he was just like a see him every few weeks kind of person, and now he was on SummerSlam, he's on this SmackDown, and he's gonna be at this next upcoming SmackDown. So it's weird to just see him so regularly now.
Yeah.
It feels really fast. It looks like it's gonna be Roman versus Solo, but I mean it makes sense. I mean Solo taking in the head of the table role and taking out Paul Heyman and Jimmy, and so it makes sense. It just seems like it's happening fast, but I'm curious to see where it goes. What about you?
I mean, I liked it. It was exciting to see Roman back and just like for it to just move kind of quickly, and there were no words.
Yeah,
Roman didn't say anything on this episode of SmackDown. He literally just came out and asserted his authority. However, to a point, I get worried about, and again, I kind of go back to, I almost feel like this kind of diminishes Cody in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Because Roman came out and literally just single-handedly dismantled the new bloodline.
True.
Right? Yeah. Where for the last 3 months, they've been just wreaking havoc on the roster. And I mean, you've had fucking Cody and Orton and KO. Like, you've had different
they haven't been able
groups
to really
of people,
get an
and they
upper
haven't
hand.
been able to get an upper hand. But then Roman comes out and does it on his own, even though he lost the title at WrestleMania to Cody. So I don't know, just like in a way, I feel like it's not really protecting your current WWE champion, because now no matter how you look at it, they just made Roman look unstoppable.
True.
Compared to the person that they should be trying to make look unstoppable, which is their current champion, the face of their fucking company, in Cody Rhodes.
Cody did not win it on his own, though. He had help in that WrestleMania match.
Well, that's true, but Roman never did anything on his own. Not a single thing throughout that entire run did he finish. He didn't win a match clean.
True, but
I
guess the difference is Jacob Fatu isn't around, and let's just be honest, Tama and Tonga are not the.
I know, but still, it's
little lackeys. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
though.
But I mean, even before Jacob debuted, it was still Tama and Tonga and Solo.
Yeah.
Running through Orton, KO, and Cody, even before Jacob. So I don't know. I'm here for the bloodline story to see what's going on, but there's also a side of me where I'm kind of like, you're still holding Roman on this fucking pedestal of like, you are the savior, you're MCU Jesus, right? Like, it's just, I don't know, but like, I also am excited to see. I'm hoping it doesn't just lead quickly to Roman versus Solo. Like, there needs to be the full Bloodline Civil War. Like, the shit has to happen, and they've even put that in graphics. On TV is talking about the Bloodline Civil War. So I don't know. It's kind of interesting to see.
I see what you're saying. I get it.
This leads us to Raw though, and a fucking really good just full opening segment with Rhea coming out and Rhea spitting on the mic, and she's just so goddamn good on the microphone, and just intense. And then it leads to Dom and Liv coming out and interrupting her up in the crowd, and just back and forth on the microphone. And then it led to Damian Priest emerging from behind Dom and Liv, and then just kind of a straight up just brawl. Not even a brawl. I mean, it was Damian Priest just beating the living shit out of Dominic. But then Rhea chases Liv off. This whole opening segment, it led back down to Carlito getting involved, and then Carlito versus Damian.
I liked how they set that all up. Kind of.
Yeah, but I mean, it was just cool because it's like it started in the ring as you normally would see. Then there's them up in the crowd, and then it ended up like the camera work was just like up the stairs into like the concessions area, right? And they're just like they're knocking tables over, like they're actually like destroying people's food and drinks and shit, which is fucking, and like they're gonna get paid for more shit. But it was just awesome to just see them like out in the crowd, like that in depth in the crowd. And then so like I thought the whole opening segment was amazing. I thought it was one of the best openings for a Raw that I've seen in a while, and I am coining a new term for this. It kind of matches the show with our consistent cheers and whatnot, but I am coining a new term, and that is toasted. This segment was fucking straight toasted, dude. Agreed. And it's kind of like saying it was legit, it was awesome, it was cool, it was fire, whatever the fuck you want to say. But I'm saying toasted. I wanted my own goddamn term to mean what I want it to mean. And
like you said, it fits the show.
So that was awesome. One last thing I want to point out about this, or I guess we have two things to point out about it, but Rhea's little dick joke on Dom, that just goes back to the whole like that pushing that boundary of what's allowed and what's not allowed now, and like things that we would not have seen 2 years ago, on live TV. But talking about how you stabbed her, you stabbed me in the back, but I'm sure this isn't the first time you heard this. It wasn't deep enough. I was like, let's fucking go. So that was fucking awesome.
Loved it.
But this whole opening sequence led to it being made official. Bash at Berlin. We got the Terror Twins, Rhea and Damian Priest against
Livdom. I'm coining their name.
Yes.
It's like Kingdom, only
We are coining terms left and right around here. Livdom. Take that, Triple H.
So we get a mixed tag at Bash in Berlin, and I think that's the next
next step in this whole
feud. It'll be interesting because we got Finn and JD as tag champs still, and he's feuding with Damian Priest ultimately. So obviously, I feel like it's going to be involved in that. But it'll
absolutely.
Be interesting how they separate enough.
It'll be another
title matches.
It'll be another step towards I wouldn't be surprised if they interfere in the mixed tag match, if Finn and JD interfere and cause Rhea and Damian to lose, but then turn around and have Damian interfere in the tag, what we're assuming is going to be the tag title match.
That's a good call.
And cause them, if we get the Judgment Day tag titles defended.
Yeah. Probably not at Bash to Berlin.
Yeah, maybe not. But at some point, they turn around and cause them to lose, maybe to Jay and Sammy. We'll see. But anyways, this leads us to, we get a backstage segment with
Kofi Kingston,
Odyssey Jones, and Xavier Woods. They're kind of just, she's interviewing them, talking about kind of just Odyssey Jones's debut, re-debut, as we kind of coined it. And I mean, they were calling it a debut on Raw as well.
Yeah.
Odyssey Jones talked about how he got drafted like 417 days ago or whatever it was, and then he hasn't been on TV since, just like you had said last week. You can tell the whole time that
Woods is just not on the same page.
Yeah, Xavier's just kind of like, okay, yep. And then Kofi is talking about how him and Odyssey Jones had, when Kofi was injured, like they had done some in-ring work together. So he's kind of like, no man, don't worry about it. He's legit. It's real. Like you got nothing to worry about. And Woods is just kind of like, you're making all these decisions without me type of thing.
Kofi's just making all these decisions. They go out to the ring and call out Final Testament.
Yeah.
And but just side note, the shirts, you pointed this out.
Dude, yeah. It was awesome. Odyssey Jones is wearing a just cut off shirt. It was red with black writing and it was in the NWO font, but it said NDR. And underneath it said New Day Rocks.
Yeah, man.
And I was like, dude, that shirt was fucking toasted. It was such a fucking awesome shirt. Like I would straight buy that shirt. It was awesome. It was dope. So New Day Rocks in the NWO looking style of a shirt. I thought it was awesome.
I like it. And,
but yeah.
Again, blurring the line of what's PG rating. Final Testament.
Yes.
Called,
Cody Rhodes. Or sorry, not Cody Rhodes. Kofi Kingston accidentally referred to them as the final testicle.
Yes.
That was hilarious. I was laughing my ass off when that happened. I was like, this show is fucking great right now. It was so good.
It's leading to a 6-man match. We got Final Testament, not testicle, versus new iteration of New Day, or New Day and Odyssey Jones. Yep. Again, Xavier's just kind of like, he's like, just kind of going with the flow, but looks concerned.
He looks a little reluctant about what's going on. So again,
it seems like the Woods Kofi storyline is finally gaining some traction.
Yeah,
it looks like
it's building to something.
Which we were complaining about before.
So we end up backstage again. We got another backstage segment with Awesome Truth standing there, and
Miz is looking down.
Yeah, Miz is looking down. R-Truth's talking about like how he's upset that he didn't get to have a match at SummerSlam in his hometown of Cleveland, and so R-Truth hooked him up. He set him up with a title match for the Intercontinental Championship
against Braun.
And Miz is like, what? You got me a title match against Braun? And then he goes, wait, isn't he wrestling Sami Zayn tonight? and then you see R-Truth kind of point to his screen. He's like,
this guy.
He's like, him right there, right? And he turns and it ends up being Bronson Reed. Braun's son. As Miz angrily is pointing out.
And then Randy Orton comes along and he's like, hey man, you faced John Cena at WrestleMania and beat him. You main evented. You've been a Grand Slam champion twice. You got this. You got this.
And then he walks over with Miz and goes, I do got this. I do. And he walks away. And then R-Truth goes, do you think you really got this? And Orton goes, and he just kind of walks away. It was a really good backstage interaction with them. It was solid. But that leads to the Bronson Reed versus The Miz. Miz kind of a couple different times kind of gets a little bit of an upper hand, but it all ends up leading to Bronson Reed finishing off Miz with the tsunami from the top rope, getting the pin, and then
Bronson Reed
goes back up to the top rope. R-Truth is standing out to the side. Everyone knows what happened to Rollins last week. And so R-Truth slides in the ring. He moves the Miz out of the way so that Bronson can't hit him. But R-Truth turns around and he catches a fucking standing tsunami. It's like a cross-body tsunami.
Flying cross-body. But I thought that, I was like, oh God.
Yeah, and then he proceeds to hit R-Truth with 6 tsunamis. Just like we saw happen to Rollins the week before. After Adam Pearce has come out and trying to get involved, like trying to stop him, Bronson Reed just doesn't listen to him, turns back around, and he goes back for 1 or 2 more.
Bronson is really good at faking this out. Like I'm legit go, okay, he's done, done, and then he goes right back.
This mixed with a handful of other things that's happened on Raw over the last few months has really just made Adam Pearce look like a fucking terrible GM. Like, he has zero control over his roster.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about Braun Breaker, you think about CM Punk and McIntyre.
Yeah.
Now this, like, he has a lot of just the fucking Judgment Day, all that whole situation. Like, there's a lot
Sonya
of
trio.
Yeah, the Sony trio. Like, there's a lot of shit going on without any actual legit repercussions. Like, oh, he fined Bronson Reed twice last. Well, look what that led to. He did it again this week. So it's just like, holy cow. At some point, like, do you even need a fucking general manager on Raw then? Like, I don't. Just saying, I don't see that type of shit happening quite as much over on SmackDown.
Al discuss his things going quite in line over there, kind of.
Yeah,
except for the murders at the end of the show. For a while there.
But anyways, so that's that. We get a really solid kind of just promo leading up to the World Heavyweight Championship match at Bash at Berlin between Gunther and Orton.
Really like this. Orton starts it off just saying he's going to become a 15-time world champion, chasing that record, and but then Gunther comes out and just they go at each other. It gets personal. They say
Gunther calls out his grandpa for being a coward, calls out his dad for being a coward, says that he's, or I guess a screw up, not a coward.
Screw up, yeah.
Screw up, says that Orton's the biggest screw up of them all.
Yeah.
They're kind of in each other's faces, and then you hear the sword unsheathing, if you will. Drew McIntyre comes out.
And I was very confused at first, though, where that was going to
Same.
go.
And I'm happy it didn't go really much further than what we were regularly expecting, because
CM Punk comes out.
Gunther turns around first, and as Gunther's turning around to address the fact that McIntyre's walking down, Orton fucking turns him and hits him with an RKO out of nowhere, baby.
Yeah, he did.
After just last week, Gunther was saying, "You can't catch me by surprise." Well, joke's on you, motherfucker. You got caught by surprise.
I was begging for him not to turn around. I was like, don't do it, Gunther. Don't do it. And then he did it.
Yep. But yeah, so then this leads to McIntyre continuing to walk down, kind of takes his hair out, looks like he's about to slide in and get involved. And before he can do anything, here comes CM Punk. CM Punk jumps him from the side, and they start going at it.
Drew McIntyre rips off his belt, and it was about to
was
go
going to attack him with it.
But then
Punk got the upper hand, got the belt, and he
whipped
started
the shit out of him.
Holy shit, dude! Have you seen the pictures?
No, I haven't.
Oh my god, dude! There's pictures online of like McIntyre posting like what his back looked like.
They looked vicious.
It fucking, like, he was straight up whipping him with that fucking belt. There was no give. There was no, like, nothing, dude. That was straight up real. Like, he was smacking the living shit out of him with that belt. His back looked fucked.
Oh.
Yeah. But yeah, so this just continues to further the CM Punk McIntyre a feud. We get a backstage segment with CM Punk, too, being interviewed.
It's alluding to a strap match is what I got from that. They ask, or CM Punk says he got an idea as he's looking at the belt, and I just imagine that's what this is leading to, a strap match, which just furthers their feud and adds a stipulation to the match. So I'm liking it.
Yeah.
I like it. What about you?
Yeah. I like it. I like that the CM Punk thing happened when it did. I don't want McIntyre fucking involved now in the Gunther and Orton angle. So, like, as soon as I was like, fuck, man, come on. I do not want that. I want this to just be a fucking straightforward feud. Yeah. And so I think that's what we're getting.
Yeah. I think it was a nice swerve.
Yes.
Especially since they said CM Punk wasn't in the building because of travel restrictions and stuff. So, I like what they're doing. They're playing with things, but to your point, I was just like,
I know. I was like,
don't get involved.
Because
they already have the story. They don't need any more added.
And I felt like I felt like we were like now getting another form of the Rollins being involved in the McIntyre CM Punk thing. I was like, fuck, man. Why do we don't got to keep adding more shit. You guys are doing really well. Yeah. But then that happened. I was like, okay, cool. I'm good with it.
Leads us to our main event.
Yeah. We got the Intercontinental Championship title being defended for the second time in the last month in the main event on Raw, which I think is awesome. It kind of goes back to just like how much the IC is being pushed as such a stepping stone to
it wasn't just
title.
Any match. It was a 2 out of 3 falls.
2 out of 3 falls match, man. Braun Breaker against Sami Zayn. Going back to the rematch clause thing, Sammy got a rematch for the title.
Yeah.
So the kind of rematch clause is, I guess, kind of up in the air as to when it is applied and how it works.
Exactly.
But Sammy got a match again for it.
The match was fire.
Match was toasted. Match was toasted. Yeah. The match it was really was. It was a really good match. Sammy gets the first fall. Braun gets the second fall. And then they're kind of going back and forth, and they're setting it up, actually making it look like Sammy had potential to win this match.
Yeah.
And then he jumps off the top rope, and Braun Breaker hit him with a fucking spear.
Yes.
That spear, like most of the time I see a spear get hit, and I'm like, okay, like it was a spear.
Yeah.
They don't look like they're that actually painful.
Yeah.
That one looked like that fucking hurt. Like that actually, and Sammy fucking took it and sold it so goddamn well. But yeah, so Braun ends up winning it, successfully defends the title. We both felt like this was a pretty good closing chapter to this feud.
I think it is the final chapter.
Yeah.
I think it was the best match they had in this series.
Yep.
What better way to end it than that way? It lets Sammy go off now and potentially team up with Jay like they were talking about and go for those tag titles.
And it allows Braun now to go on a title defense.
Go on a wrecking crew.
Yeah.
Wrecking crew.
It also opens the door now to put Sammy in just another variation of a main event storyline, whether it's tag titles or something else, who knows. But then it opens the door to other individuals to be able to kind of get lifted up by what like kind of that prestige of what the IC is right now.
Yeah.
And whether somebody else knocks Braun off anytime soon for it, which I'd be surprised about, but just the matches, I think Braun, even being as fresh as he is, has the potential to be able to help carry other superstars to other levels. So
agreed. Totally agreed.
Yeah.
All right.
That's Raw, baby.
We
got our bangers of the week.
All right. I'm going to go first.
Okay.
My
Hold on, time out. We decided, so weeks past, every other week we've done this, we have just we know what each other's banger of the week is. We decided starting now that we are actually going to reveal these live on the show. So I don't know what Tim's is. He doesn't know what mine is. So, here we go. Tim, what's yours?
My banger of the week is Braun versus Sammy in the 2 out of 3 falls match. It was by far the best match I thought of SmackDown and Raw. Like I said, it was the final chapter. I think it was a good close to the feud, and Braun won definitively. There was no ifs, ands, or buts. He was the winner. So that was my banger of the week.
All right, my banger of the week is Braun Breaker defeating Sami Zayn in a 2 out of 3 falls match for the Intercontinental Championship in the main event of Raw. Holy shit. So that was, like we said, that was not planned. But it makes sense because it was the best match out of this week of wrestling on WWE. It was a definitive conclusion. It kind of just solidified a bunch of other things that we've already mentioned. So I think it was kind of a no-brainer. That was probably an easy one for us to both be able to just be like, yeah, it's probably going to be that. So banger of the week. We'll be right back.
A few moments later.
And that brings us to our belts question of the week.
And I once again came up with this question. So, we got a fantasy booking kind of thing going on here.
We do.
I challenge you to come up with 3 different matches.
Yep.
With today's roster, current roster, versus roster from the past. And I want you to be specific with a time frame, like, so if it's The Undertaker, it's The Phenom, or American Badass, or whatever you want to do. But just be specific with who you're pairing this matchup with, and it can be tag teams as well. So we'll just go back and forth. So you want me to start, or you want to go?
Go for it first. Yeah.
All right.
You throw your first one out, and then I'll throw one out, and then like I said, let's go back and forth.
My first match is Chad Gable versus 2002 Kurt Angle.
That makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be a fucking great match, honestly.
We talked about how we compare them.
And I think if you really were to break it down, it would be the 2002 Kurt Angle against the thank you,
Yeah.
Chad Gable. Like
Yeah.
that would almost that would be like
Yeah.
perfect. Because I mean, his current the American Made or
Yeah.
whatever, like it's solid. But
Yeah.
I think the thank you was like kind of almost. It was like that was like when he was gaining the most traction
Yeah.
was through that. So with
I thought that would be a very solid match.
yeah, I think that'd be awesome. My first one, I'm gonna go Braun Breaker
Okay.
against like the WCW run of Bill Goldberg.
Oh,
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, so the undefeated streak of Goldberg through like that era of Goldberg against now Braun Breaker. So
Okay.
I thought that would have been like spear versus spear,
Yeah.
two of the best, spears. So-
That's a good one.
Yeah.
All right, my second match is a tag team match, and it's
Okay.
the Usos
Yeah.
versus the 2001 Hardy Boys.
Yeah, that one also makes sense to me.
I-
I would love to see the
Just-
Usos against the Hardy Boys now. I don't
Yeah.
even give a fuck. But yeah,
I want
no,
to see them in a ladder
100%.
match specifically.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
think two of the best tag teams out there, I think they would have a toasted match.
Toasted, hell yeah. My second match, I'm going with like the returning character right before he passed away of Bray Wyatt.
Okay.
So that's my current superstar
Okay.
against the Ministry of Darkness Taker.
Ooh. Ooh. I like that.
Yeah, I think it would have been that was easily Taker's darkest
Yeah.
era, and then just that fucking crazy maniacal Bray Wyatt
Yeah.
in that version of the Fiend. I think it would just be fucking amazing.
Ooh. All right. Third and final match for me is Gunther
Okay.
versus the next big thing, Brock Lesnar.
Okay.
Not the Suplex City Brock Lesnar. I want the guy
You're
was like,
talking-
coming up,
yeah.
and was actually doing variety of moves.
Yeah,
but
you're
was
talking
totally
you're
dominant.
talking WWE SmackDown. Here comes the pain, Brock Lesnar.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I still want to see them. I would take current version of Brock Lesnar versus Gunther.
Yeah.
I think it would be a hard hitting, violent match.
Yes,
but
absolutely.
I would love to see that version of it.
Yeah.
What about you?
I'm going. Fuck, man. I'm going. This one is just for pure in ring. What would be fucking in ring beauty?
All right.
Seth Rollins
Okay.
against like I want to say it probably would have been like the mid '90s Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
Like the Shawn Michaels that was like Scary Sherry. Shawn
Gotcha.
Michaels, like
Yeah.
that era. So that might have been more early 90s.
Yeah.
I can't fully off the top remember, but I'm talking when he still had the kind of long curly,
Like mullet kind of.
beautiful looking hair from the rocker days, but
Yeah.
post rockers. Shout out to the rockers. Got them sitting on the table right there,
There
holding
you go.
tag titles. But yeah, I think like Shawn Michaels, I think inarguably one of the best to ever perform in a wrestling ring, not just
Yeah.
WWE, but across every type of professional wrestling. Shawn Michaels would be at the top of most people's fucking like billings. And then Seth, I would argue, is one of the best current wrestlers.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just think it would be a great fucking match.
All our matches right there.
Yeah, that
would
would be a hell of a fucking card.
Yeah, it would.
Just like that pay-per-view, just with those 6 matches on it alone would be fucking phenomenal. So
All right. Well, I would love to hear from you guys what you would do a fantasy booking with. So think
Yeah.
current roster versus a certain era on the older roster.
yeah, absolutely. This brings us into Blockbusters. We have quite a bit actually on our Blockbusters section today. We are covering a handful of Sony Marvel things.
Sony got their own universe going on right now.
A single full MCU thing, and then we got a couple other things that we're going to talk about as well.
Yeah.
So first, we're starting it off with Kraven the Hunter in Sony's Spider-Verse.
The trailer just
live
came
action.
out.
Yep, trailer just came out. Looks fucking good. We'll talk about that in a sec. But the synopsis to the movie is Kraven the Hunter is a visceral, action-packed origin story of how and why one of Marvel's most iconic villains came to be. Aaron Taylor Johnson plays Kraven, a man whose complex relationship with his ruthless father, Nikolai Kravinoff, also played by Russell Crowe, starts him down a path of vengeance with brutal consequences, motivating him to become not only the greatest hunter in the world, but also one of its most feared.
Sounds like an awesome movie.
Yeah, that sounds like a good plot point there. The movie comes out in December.
Yeah.
The trailer, like we said, they just dropped. The trailer itself actually showed another Spider-Verse villain, which is actually one of my favorite.
I know, it's
Spider-Man
one of my favorite villains,
and
too.
that is Rhino, and it looks like a fucking what will hopefully be a really good live action version of Rhino, because we've only had
Paul Giamatti in a robotic Rhino suit.
Yeah, and I love Paul Giamatti. But in the robotic Rhino suit, just that didn't hit very well. So I'm excited for this. This looks like an actual like mutation form that turns whoever the dude is into Rhino.
Yeah.
So
we also have
it looks
some
great.
Other villains possibly in them. The Calypso. The Foreigner is the main antagonist, is what I'm reading, and then the Chameleon. So we got quite a bit going into this movie.
and some handful of characters there that we haven't seen in live action iteration. So that's exciting. Just continuing to kind of open that Rolodex of comic book characters that we just keep expanding on and expanding on and expanding on. So movie looks like it's going to be good. Looks like it will hopefully be a legit movie.
It's got an R-rated, so
R-rated,
the violence
like
is
that.
going to be good in it.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the Sony Spider-Verse and what they're doing with it? We got 2 Venom movies. We got Madam Web and Morbius. And they definitely have intertwined with each other a little bit in those.
Yeah. I'm to be honest with you, I'm a little behind on the Sony Marvel movies. I think I've only seen the first Venom movie.
Oh, gotcha.
I don't think I thought I saw the first 2, but I don't think, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think I have seen Let There Be Carnage. So shit, I have some catching up to do. I need to watch all those. I haven't watched Madame Web. Part of it for me, and it's probably unfair, is because I read too goddamn much about shit, and Morbius was shit on critically.
So was Madame Web.
So was Madame Web. And I think Let There Be Carnage also wasn't received too well. So I loved the first Venom with Tom Hardy. I love Tom Hardy in that role. I think just aside from what we've heard or known about those movies, I think it's like Sony has been setting, it seems like they're trying to set up a potential Sinister Six type thing by giving, it's like it's a Spider-Verse, sure, but it feels more like they're setting up like a villain verse in the Sony Marvel, like a Spider-Man villain thing. Cause like you have Venom.
Yeah.
They did Morbius. Now they have Kraven the Hunter.
Rhino potentially,
Chameleon, like all of these guys are, but they're also doing a lot of like anti-hero type things where it's like Venom is the good guy in the Venom movies, but Venom is like the arch nemesis of Spider-Man. Yeah. Right. So same with Kraven the Hunter is a villain in the Spider-Man comics, but he's like the main protagonist in this movie being the origin story. Same with Morbius. Right. So I think it's interesting for sure. And I think like I love just the expansion of the characters and all, like I said, the Rolodex of all the different comic characters that they're bringing into stuff. So I'm here for it. I just need to fucking catch up and watch the other ones. Yeah. I haven't watched them because of what I've read or anything, but I feel like it has kind of maybe impacted it as to how quickly I'm getting to it. Yeah. But I do need to watch them, and I want to watch them. I'm assuming you have watched all of them that have come out so far.
I have not seen Morbius yet.
You haven't seen Morbius yet, okay.
But
so we're on the same page.
To your point, it was because of what was said about it. But I have seen all the other ones out right now, and I don't hate on them, not as much as what the critics and fans say. Are they great? No, but they're not terrible either. Yeah. I'm a little it's weird to see these villains of Spider-Man without Spider-Man, other than we got a glimpse of it in there was a post-credit scene in Let There Be Carnage that kind of alluded to a Spider-Man. But it's weird to see a universe without Spider-Man. Is it leading to interacting with him? That would be great.
That would be awesome.
But to your point, it's just all these anti-hero movies. Are they going to go against each other, or is it leading to Spider-Man, eventually?
I would love for it to end up being like them start another, Spider-Man 4 that is already in the works and whatnot. I would love for that to be like the start of another Spider-Man trilogy that is more grounded, more street level, and them have these fucking crossovers now with the Sony Spider-Man villains.
Yeah.
And with Tom Holland Spider-Man.
And right before,
I don't want them to bring back fucking Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire for this shit.
No?
In a Secret Wars type setting, sure. But I'm sorry, we're said and done. That chapter's closed. Mm-hmm. To me.
Yeah.
So, like, Tom Holland is the current running Spider-Man. I want to see him against all these guys. I don't necessarily want to see Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield come back and have, like, their own moments with these characters. I want it, like, in Secret Wars, sure.
Yeah.
Bring back fucking everybody. I don't care. Bring back fucking Eric Bana's Incredible Hulk. I don't fucking care. Yeah. Let's go. But in this, like, I feel like it needs to be more grounded, less multiversal, just more grounded.
Yeah.
And it needs to, like, that would be sweet. So
I get that.
I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
I did hear or read something, and I hope it's not the case, but it sounds like Sony is creating these movies and not allowing them to be in the MCU side of things. So it's like they're producing all these iconic characters, villains to Spider-Man, but not allowing it. So it may be hindering what will be next for Tom Holland on the MCU side of things. But I hope that's not true. But
I hope that's not true either, because
I heard
like
a
that's
tidbit about that. And
that, like, at that point, that's just uberly selfish by Sony.
Yeah.
And that's all it would be. It's just utterly selfish by Sony. Like, you guys have that pairing between Sony and Marvel for the rights to Spider-Man and being able to produce those movies has produced some of the best-selling fucking Spider-Man movies that have ever happened. Comic book movies that have ever happened. I mean, fucking No Way Home was the previously the last $1 billion movie before Deadpool and Wolverine. So, yeah, that would be fucking dumb. And I mean, realistically, Sony just needs to fucking eat it and let fucking Disney buy the rights to Spider-Man back. Like, take your fucking money and just realize that you guys suck at producing these fucking movies, and let the MCU do what they should be doing and have every comic book character that is under Marvel be under their banner. It's annoying. Like,
I hate
you're
that
not
whole,
I know,
like,
you're not fucking doing the fans any fucking good by doing what you're doing. We got a couple upcoming Sony Marvel projects, though.
We got Spider Noir. It's a live-action TV series with Nicolas Cage reprising the role from Into the Spider-Verse, which I'm here for. I love the Spider-Man umbrella, and excited for that. Yep. And then we also I believe we talked about it before, but just Venom: Last Dance is also
third Venom movie with Tom Hardy.
So I'm excited for those things. Again, I would love to see ultimately what it's all leading to. If anything, I hope it is.
Same. We got Marvel now. Jump into just the pure Marvel, not Sony related now. This is just the MCU. We have Daredevil Born Again, which we have alluded to a little bit on here before, but I don't think we've actually full-blown talked about it. So it is a kind of rebirth of the Netflix Daredevil show with Charlie Cox as Daredevil, Vincent D'Onofrio as Wilson Fisk. You got Eldon Henson, or I think that's the actor's name that plays Foggy, and then the gal that plays Karen.
Yeah,
I can't remember her name, but
Beth Mel coming back as the Punisher.
Yep, that's true.
But we got Bullseye coming back, and then the new main antagonist is the Muse.
The Muse, which I'm
serial killer character.
fucking excited about. That's gonna be crazy.
I think, I mean, I didn't get to see the full actual footage. I saw like a very blurry version of it. Looks violent.
Yeah, because
awesome.
they dropped it exclusively at D23.
Yeah.
So they haven't actually released it to the public. So what you, because I haven't been able to find shit. Everything, like after you sent me that, you told me that like you saw the leaked footage. I haven't even been able to find the leaked footage. It's been removed.
Yeah.
Like from every site, every article that I read, like everything, I can't find it now. So,
but I mean, just some clips that I definitely pulled out of it. It looks violent. It looks awesome. There's a scene where it has like 5 different masks for Daredevil, like the gold one, some red ones, and then Miss Marvel's dad is in
which is interesting.
The leaked footage. So seeing them intertwine universes there.
Yeah.
The episode count, it was said to be 18 episodes at first.
Yeah, it was supposed to be the longest Disney Plus show.
Yeah.
So I was surprised to see that.
Definitely reduced it down to 9, it sounds like. But,
interesting.
But I mean, the Netflix ones were pretty long episodes, so hopefully that's what continues.
Yeah, longer episodes then if they're going to cut
Disney
it down.
Plus, what I got really excited for was just some interviews. Charlie Cox says there's gonna be a scene that outdoes the iconic hallway scene in the,
which is fucking
the original.
That is mind blowing to me that he could even say that, because that scene is one of my favorite live action fight sequences.
Absolutely.
Is the fucking hallway, the hallway stairwell scene.
Yeah.
In the original Daredevil Netflix series.
And then Vincent goes on to say that this is more violent than the original.
And that he was surprised by some of the scenes that made the cut. They weren't left on the cutting room floor, if you will.
Yeah.
They were actually, they stayed in, and he said that he was surprised that it made it in. So that's definitely saying something.
I'm excited for this show.
I'm stoked for this. I love Charlie Cox's iteration of Daredevil. Absolutely fucking love it. Yeah. I loved the original show. I think there was three seasons.
Yeah.
Foggy and Karen, like everything about it was also well cast. I'm happy they brought all these characters back, and that we're getting the continuation of this. Yeah. And like not even the continuation, but just the like, it's new.
Yeah.
It's gonna be brand new.
Yeah.
So
I'm March 2025 can't come soon
yes,
enough.
Absolutely.
Is
absolutely.
what my thoughts on that.
Next up, we have Beetlejuice. The long time coming. This movie has been in like some form of production for probably fucking 15 to 20 years. Like, it's been talked about trying to make a second Beetlejuice movie. Never came to fruition until just the last like 2 years. It was like, oh, it actually got greenlit. Fucking Michael Keaton's coming back. So first off, we got the synopsis for it. It says, Beetlejuice is back. After an unexpected family tragedy, 3 generations of the Dietz family return home to Winter River. Still haunted by Beetlejuice, Lydia's life is turned upside down when her rebellious teenage daughter, Astrid, discovers the mysterious model of the town in the attic, and the portal to the afterlife is accidentally opened. With trouble brewing in both realms, it's only a matter of time until someone says Beetlejuice's name 3 times, and the mischievous demon returns to unleash its very own brand of mayhem.
You just said his name 3 times. You are unleashing it on here.
I'm here for it. So Beetlejuice comes out in theaters on September 6th. Which is just right around the fucking corner. Like, that's like
it's
2.5 weeks away right now, which is awesome. Michael Keaton, as I said previously, returns as Beetlejuice, along with both Winona Ryder and Catherine O'Hara as their respective Dietz family members. And it also brings in Jenna Ortega as Ryder's daughter. Which
pretty excited about that.
That's 3 fucking fantastic generations of actresses too. Like, Catherine O'Hara is amazing,
and I can't think of a better person to be the daughter of Winona
than
Ryder's
fucking
character.
Wednesday Addams.
Yeah.
Like, she's amazing. Yeah, and so I'm stoked for that. One thing I'm excited for, is that Michael Keaton has gone on record and stated that this movie has a stronger story than the first one did. Mm-hmm. And also that there were things in the film that he wasn't prepared for and that he is beyond delighted about.
Okay.
So, like, that's cool, seeing as how like he is Beetlejuice. Like, you're not having someone else fucking play this. So
Yeah,
to have him coming back as it, to have a bunch of the other original characters that were in the original movie that came out in fucking like 88, I think, is when the first Beetlejuice movie came out. So I mean, you're talking almost 40 years later. You're talking 36 years later.
Yeah.
Shit, dude. Like, for them to all be coming back, and then for him to say that it's a stronger story than the first one, I don't know. It just makes me even more excited. Like, all the little, like, the trailers and all the stuff look good and everything, but it's like we said with the Daredevil, when you get the little interviews with the people giving little kind of quips about it, it's like, oh man, that gets me even more excited. So I'm stoked for that.
I am too. I just recently watched Beetlejuice. It's one of my favorites, and got my one of my favorite lines in the movie. Nice fucking model. Honk, honk. Just, I hope there's a touch on that in the movie or something.
Something. Yeah.
Fucking love that movie.
That brings us to our small screen
Yeah.
portion of the Blockbusters segment. Even though we have already talked about a couple different TV shows, we're going to be talking about things that aren't Marvel-related TV shows.
No, I mean, we talk a lot about Marvel. We talk a lot about just movies in general. And I mean, that is our podcast, Blockbusters, right? So, no, I still love TV shows. And I actually just came across a trailer the other day, and it does have a few episodes out already, but I'm pretty excited about this show on Apple TV called Bad Monkey. It has Vince Vaughn, and Vince Vaughn's character has been bounced from the Miami PD and becomes a health inspector. He stumbles upon a case with a severed arm and tries to prove it's murder to get back on the force. The trailer just is typical Vince Vaughn. And I love Vince Vaughn and everything that he is.
We've talked about that before. Vince Vaughn's one of our fucking favorites of all time.
So really excited to start that show. It also has Rob Delaney, Peter Poole. We just saw him in Deadpool.
There's our Marvel connection.
Yeah, exactly. You can find it on Apple TV. It sounds like episodes come out every Wednesday, and it looks like 3 episodes are out right now. What about you? Do you got anything excited coming up in the TV small screen?
Like the number one. Hey, I'm excited to watch this. I was kind of letting a few episodes go by. I think this is one that I'm going to be able to talk my wife into watching with me as well. So I'm excited about that. But yeah, so I'm excited for Bad Monkey. But another show that I know both her and I are excited for. We've talked about this show on here already too before, and you've watched it, and I'm assuming you're probably just as excited for season 4 of Only Murders in the Building.
Oh yes,
which drops, I believe, August 26th, which is
27th. Yes,
is it 27th? So which is not this coming Tuesday, but the Tuesday after.
Yes.
So that will be coming out. It's fucking star-studded 4th season, like even more so than it has been before.
Yes.
So, and with a lot of just awesome actors and actresses in it. So I'm very excited for that show. It's one of our favorite shows. So we're stoked for season 4.
Haley and I are really excited for that too. It's just been our summer show or beginning of fall show kind of thing. And we love the whodunits, and that's what that show is. It's hilarious. It keeps you on your toes, and
just the interaction between Steve Martin, Martin Short, and then Selena Gomez, where it's like 2 like dudes that could be her grandfathers, right? And then her in her 30s. It's really fun to see her interact with those two and like doing it in like a very modern, like up to date way where like they're struggling with texting or whatever. And she's just like, oh my God. Yeah. It's like, it's really good banter back and forth between them and just like very wholesome and real while then doing their own podcast about these murders that are very close to home for them. So it's all around. It's just a really good show. So very excited for that to come out.
Absolutely.
This brings us to our final segment of the show today, which is our Blockbusters question of the week. And this one I posed, and it is, what is an older movie, and I'm saying older, 20 years or longer, so 2004 or before.
Okay.
That was a one-off movie, so it didn't have any sequels. It was just a standalone, by itself film. that you would like to now see a sequel, and like a true sequel, not a reboot, not a like modernization redo of it, but like an actual sequel made. So it's like the same characters, same actors, actresses, even.
Okay.
Or like the main ones at least.
Yeah.
Reprising the roles, kind of like what we're getting with Beetlejuice, kind of like what we're getting with in a sense with Gladiator. What is a movie that you would like to see that done for?
Well, I have 2 movies, okay? And I only picked another one because I didn't know if you would allow this one, because technically there is other movies, and both of them happen to be in 1998. Both released in 1998. The one I wasn't sure about, but I'm still going to talk about it, Godzilla, the one with Matthew Broderick.
Oh, yeah.
That one, it was a standalone Godzilla movie.
Yeah, but there's a million Godzilla movies. But
several,
yes, no, I totally get what you're saying.
But it alluded to a sequel that we never got.
Yeah.
And I would love to see a sequel to that.
Yeah, damn, that would be really good.
But my actual one, the one that is a standalone movie, 1998's Small Soldiers.
Dude, that would be so fucking awesome.
That movie.
Oh my god, I love that movie.
That movie
I need to watch
basically
that now that you just said it, I need to watch that movie soon. Yeah,
that movie was an adult version of Toy Story.
Yeah, it really was.
Freaking loved that movie. Would love to see what they would do with it now.
Totally.
But yeah.
Oh my god. I would fucking love to see that. Oh my lord. I also have 2.
Okay.
Oddly enough, they both star Sylvester Stallone. I didn't do that on purpose. It just kind of, I'm like, God, I would love to see. The first one is Demolition Man.
Okay.
I would love to see what would be, fucking 30 years later, because that one came out sometime in the 90s also. Yeah. Early to mid 90s maybe. So almost 30 years later, having both Sylvester Stallone, Sandra Bullock reprise their roles in that film. Mm-hmm. Just seeing like what that world looks like now, because it was a futuristic setting then, just to now see like what is happening now. You had like that the underground dwelling people, you had the more uppity high class people living on the surface with all of like the new technology and all of that. Like, I don't know. I just think it would be really interesting for them to revisit that movie and that story and have a continued and see where Sylvester Stallone and Sandra Bullock's characters are now in that world. The other one, which I said again is also Sylvester Stallone, and which is one of my favorite Sylvester Stallone movies of all time, is Tango and Cash with Kurt Russell.
I've never seen that movie.
You've never seen Tango and Cash? Dude, homework. You got to watch that fucking movie. It's so good. It's a buddy cop movie essentially.
Okay. Yeah.
In a completely different vein than like Lethal Weapon or Bad Boys or anything like that. Like it's a very reluctant buddy cop movie type thing. And so
I like those kind of movies.
It's fucking awesome. It's really good. I love the movie, but it ended in a way that you totally could have. They didn't. I don't think they ever like necessarily planned for a second one, but like it ended in a way that you could totally have seen the story continuing some way. So I would love to see that one also, and have both fucking Kurt Russell and Sylvester Stallone come back together for that movie. Would be fucking
awesome.
Dope. So,
dude, great choices.
I mean, we're running out of time to potentially be able to do either of mine, because Sylvester Stallone is like 70.
Yeah,
so
they're getting up there. Well,
but yeah.
Listeners, let us know what you would like to see a sequel to. I know we got a lot of sequels out there, but I think the ones we listed would be fun sequels.
Yes, that would be good. Let us know if you guys have any movies that you liked from way back when that were one-offs that you would like to see continuations of. And if we were to get any type of responses, we would definitely talk about them next week on the show. So
yeah, absolutely.
Dude, episode 11.
Episode 11.
Hit it and quit it. Cheers.
Let's fucking go.